What's up YouTube, pokePrimer here, Prime ready to deliver you our Week 5 matchup here in the PLW. This week we are taking on Jerry and the Pittsburgh Steelixes, and he has a very terrifying team, and it's a very fast team as well, which does not bode well for us because we don't have much speed. But his team consists of Kartana, Greninja, of course with Torrent, Tornadus Incarnate, Fortress, Ambipom, Hitmon, Chan, Mega Charizard X, Mew, Mamoswine, Araquanid, and Electivire, with his Z move users being Kartana and Electivire. So, yeah, very scary team. He has the potential for sticky webs, which is always annoying, always potentially an issue. He's got plenty of rockers, plenty of hazard removers. Like, that's definitely a very clear and obvious thing to watch out for. But he also has the very scary threats of Kartana and Megazard X, which, to be fair, I'm not keen on having to face. I'm not too happy with this scenario in the slightest. This is a very bad thing for me to have to deal with at all. Not too happy with what's going down in this situation. Because Mega Charizard X, if it gets up a Dragon Dance, it wins. That's it. I mean, maybe Von Strangle can wall it because of Unaware, but like, realistically, that's it. That's game. 100%. Or if it just goes for the wall breaking set, like, I don't really do much against that. So that's a problem. And Kartana itself is just a massive problem all the time. So it's going to be a hard match for sure, but I think we might be able to pull this out. We're going to do our very best, obviously. The first one we're going to be bringing is Shaman. A defensive Shaman this week. We're running enough speed, outspeed, max speed base 80s in the form of Mamoswine. So unless he's Scarf Mamo, we will outspeed him. And obviously if he's Scarf Mamo, we will know. We have Leech Seed, Synthesis, Seed Flare, and HP Fire. Holding the Rocky Helmet. All the rest of our stats is basically max HP, and then the rest goes in defense. So Leech Seed is going to be pretty spammable, I think, in this game, because we're going to be able to click it against a bunch of different things. And he has nothing besides Kartana that wants to come in on a Leech Seed, and like doesn't want to be Leech Seeded, so, or they can't be Leech Seeded. So Leech Seed's a very good bring, I think, this week, because it'll give us a decent amount of recovery back. In place of like leftovers and whatnot. And we also have Synthesis to heal ourselves up as well. Seed Flare is going to be kind of important because it can not only nuke the Mamoswine, but it'll be good to potentially get the Spadef drops on things and force switches, which is also going to be very key in this game. Then we have the HP Fire for that Kartana, obviously, and the Fortress, so that we can tear through those mons as well. I think that'll be very important in this game, to have that HP Fire for them. So that is our Shaman set. I think that'll be very effective for this week. Next up, we have Curtis Haxel, our Haxorus, Life Orb this week, Mold Breaker with Dragon Dance, Outrage, Earthquake, and Incinerate. Now, just overall looking at his team, we are EV to outspeed a max speed Mamoswine. If we get up a Dragon Dance, Scarf will not matter. He has a lot of mons that outspeed this, but unless they are Scarfed, obviously we will be able to outspeed them after a Dragon Dance, which I don't think a majority of them will be Scarfed. If any of them is Scarfed, it might be Kartana, which Scarf Kartana can't sweep my team because of my potential of Unaware mons that can wall its stabs. Like, I have the potential of Pyukumuku, who could wall Smart Strike, and I have Von Strangle, which can wall off the Leaf Blades to an extent. So that's very important. I also have plenty of mons that can just wall off Leaf Blade, so maybe he won't be Scarf Cart, but still. But Dragon Dance is really important. He doesn't have a Fairy type on his team, Yeah, he doesn't have a fairy type in his team, so that's why I went with Outrage, because this allows us to just kind of, like, once I think, like, either Kartana or Fortress are gone, because I don't think he'll bring both. Once Kartana or Fortress are gone, we can literally just go in, and if we get up a Dragon Dance, we click Outrage and pick up, like, 2 or 3 kills. Easy, because the majority of his team cannot take a +1 Outrage. At all. It's not possible. We have Earthquake, because Earthquake is kind of a safer move to click for things that might want to try to switch in on this thing, like maybe the Kartana or the Fortress. But for that also, we have the Incinerate. And Incinerate obviously OHKOs the Kartana, and with this 136 special attack investment, we actually have a chance to OHKO the Fortress after Rocks. Did we bring Rocks this week? Oh, we'll see as we go on, but we have a chance to OHKO after Rocks, and if he has come in twice on Rocks, then we'd guaranteed OHKO it with Incinerate, which is absolutely awesome. So that provides us a way to basically break through the one thing that can really, really wall off and stop this Haxorus set. So that's really cool. But yeah, so that's our Haxorus. Hopefully it will do some work this week. And so we have on Strangle our Clefable, Berry with Unaware, Thunderwave, Moonlight, Moonblast, and Flamethrower. Essentially, this thing is here as a way of stopping Kartana from sweeping, and also being a nuisance to potential sweepers as well. So basically, we have Thunderwave because he could potentially set up Dragon Dances or Swords Dances with Charizard. We can then paralyze that thing, heal up on it, and whittle it down. With Moonblasts, Kartana, we can come in on it, take pretty much any hit, especially because of the fact that we have the Berry, so we can eat up a Smart Strike, either Thunderwave or just go straight ahead for the Flamethrower. If it's taking any chip damage, then I know it's not Sash. We just go straight for the Flamethrower anyway. Then Moonblast hits everything on his team, barring the Fortress. So this thing can just click Moonblast 90% of the time, except if Fortress or Kartana are on the field, and regardless, we'll be able to handle those pretty effectively, I think. And Moonlight will be able to keep us at a decent amount of HP so that we can actually continue to do so. Next up, we have over easy our Chansey. We are bringing the Stealth Rocks. I'm just not positive about that, but we are bringing the Stealth Rocks, which is very important, because the chip damage will be nice to have against his team. Obviously, he does have Defog Kartana, Defog Tornai, Rapid Spin Fortress, Rapid Spin Hitmonchan, Defog Zard if he wants to be crazy, Defog Mew. He's got Defog and Spin on a lot of mons. He has the potential to clear those rocks away easily, but any chip damage I can get is enough for me. We have Thunderwave, Stealth Rock, Soft Boiled, and Seismic Toss. He has no Ghost type on his team, so Seismic Toss is pretty safe to go with. Thunderwave will be nice to slow down a lot of his mons and put a lot of pressure. We're going to have to be careful, obviously, because Electivire could potentially come in on one of those Thunderwaves and be a nuisance. And that's not cool. You should not be a nuisance. But this thing can really whittle down and fuck with his team. I've seen so many full pairs come from just standing in front of a Chansey. Apparently people get paralyzed in fear in front of Chansey's just existence. So I think that Chansey can put in a lot of work this week, and hopefully it will. What's also really cool is we do have the natural cure, so like if we go for the Thunder Wave and it hits the Mew, which will synchronize us, we can switch out and our paralysis will be gone. So that's also very important. So that is our Chansey set. Next up we have Rupee, our Mega Sableye here, Will-O-Wisp, Calm Mind, Recover, and Dark Pulse. Calm Mind is very important. Calm Mind is actually really good in this match because if he brings Ambipom, that's like a free thing to sit up on, which is really cool. But being physically bulky, we can eat hits from a lot of different mons in this team. We can set up Calm Minds. We can potentially burn things like the Kartana, the Tornadus, the Mamoswine, etc., etc. Anything that could actually potentially threaten us, we can just set up Calm Minds on it for days. And Dark Pulse hits everything on Jerry's team, barring the Greninja. And barring the Greninja and the Hitmonchan, and realistically, like, Hitmonchan's not hitting Sableye hard enough, especially if I burn it. Hitmonchan's not hitting Sableye hard enough to beat it 1v1, and Greninja is not honestly a threat if I get up like 1 or 2 Calm Minds. So Sableye has a lot of potential to set up and sweep in this game. Hopefully I can get that off, and that would be really, really awesome. So that is our Mega Sableye. Last one we're bringing is Spiky Birb, the Yachi Berry holding Zapdos, Roost, Defog, Toxic, and Discharge. T48 HP, 164 defense, 96 into Spadef with a Calm Nature. Calm Nature I felt was more relevant this week just because of the potential of Gren, Special Tornadus, which I very much could see as an issue. Mew, just wanted to be able to take hits from those. Toxic would be nice to whittle down a lot of threats on his team. Discharge could potentially pick up paras on things as well, which could be very, very awesome. I think this thing could just overall put in a lot of work in this game. Yachi Berry also allows us to potentially Toxic the Mamoswine, which could be a very useful thing in this game. So that is the team, and we're going to go ahead and hop in the battle. So hope you enjoy. Let's go. Alrighty, guys, we are here for our battle against Jerry and the Pittsburgh Steelixes. He decides to bring the Kartana, the Mega Charizard X, the Greninja, the Hitmonchan, the Mew, and the Mamoswine. Realistically, I kind of expected a majority of those for the most part. I expected the Mamo 100% because of Zapdos and Haxorus and stuff like that. Mamo has actually a pretty good matchup against our team, which is pretty scary. Cart, obviously, because of its sweeping potential against us. Zard, because it can set up pretty easily on some of my mons. I understand that, especially with Mew as well. Like potential Stall Breaker set, who knows. I'm not surprised that he didn't bring the Araquanid. Kind of surprised he didn't bring Electivire, just because it's kind of like an alternative way of switching into Zapdos, because Zapdos is one of my kill leaders for my team, but at the same time, like, it doesn't have a great matchup against a lot of other things, so I can understand it to an extent. No Fortress, so his hazard removal is put down on either Defog Mew or Rapid Spin on the Chan. Hitmonchan I kind of understand just because of Chansey. It can easily come in on Chansey a lot of times, unless I'm going for a Toxic or some type of move like that. He's going to be able to capitalize on that pretty nicely. But other than that, I can definitely see why the Ambipom didn't come, obviously, because I have a Mega Sableye that comes in on it every time, and Tornadus is kind of like a coin flip. It could have come, it could have not come, who knows, but regardless, this is the team that he brought, and let's see how it goes for him. We are going to switch sides here, obviously, because we must. And so I'm going to lead with my Clefable against his Mew. I'm just going to go straight for the Thunder Wave. And this ends up being a very, very poor decision. Because obviously, like, he has to synchronize. He's going to paralyze me back. But, like, realistically, especially because it's a Mew, just in case it wants to, like, try to set up on me or whatever. Like, I have my Unaware Mon in at least. So I'm just going to spam Moonblast on this thing. As he's going to set himself up to +3. He's going to go for the Psychic here. As I'm going for the Moonlight. But I do get fully paired, and I'm like, why? And of course, he doesn't get fully paralyzed once, mind you, at all with this Mew, so let's put that into perspective for you. He doesn't get fully paralyzed once, so you know what? I'm accepting this paralysis as karma. Karma catching up to me for the past 2 weeks. So you know what? That's fine. That's on me. That's on me. My bad. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? But, so I'm going to go into my Sableye here, hoping that he doesn't have a Fairy Type move. I'm just going to go straight for the Dark Pulse. Now that I'm Mega'd,
I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on this Mamoswine, as his Earthquake does a lot of damage. So this shows me, obviously, he reveals his Life Orb, and shows that he's extremely offensively invested. So I'm like, alright, well, at least now he's burned, I can handle his moves. So I'm just gonna, recover up here, so I can get myself back up to a decent amount of HP. And I'm going to go for a Calm Mind, as he does switch into his Kartana, which is a very, very nice play there. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp and miss. For having such big eyes and having this big magnifying glass of a fucking crystal sitting in front of you, you can't hit one Will-O-Wisp? Rupee? Huh? So then he's going to go for a Z move. I'm like, alright, well, this is GG. He goes for the Black Hole Eclipse, and we live on 1%. 1%. Granted, unless he was adamant, I don't know if he was adamant or not, but unless he was adamant, like, the max roll was like 47-something%, so there was a really good chance that we could have lived that anyway. But still, if he was, he could have been adamant. So like that roll kind of would have sucked in that case. But I'm able to recover back up. At this point, I'm able to just kind of recover, spam in front of this thing a little bit. He goes for an air slash here, which I thought was really funny because like obviously Kartana has no special attack. He goes for the air slash, and I'm actually able to like. Obviously chew it, but he does get the flinch, and that's kind of funny to me. So I'm just going to keep recovering up, and I'm going to get the recover up in front of this Charizard. And he's going to set up for Dragon Dance. I can't burn this thing, obviously, so I'm just going to go straight for the Dark Pulse. And he's going to Dragon Dance up again, and that's terrifying. So I go for the Dark Pulse again. I whittle him down. So I'm thinking in my head, like, maybe he's running the Flare Blitz because he really needs that to break through my team. So I can just go into Chansey here. And he can go for that Flare Blitz, take the recoil from hitting Chansey. Because Chansey, realistically, if you look at his team between Hitmonchan, potentially Kartana, potentially Physical Greninja, Mamoswine, he has a lot of really physical threats that put a lot of pressure on Chansey. So like Chansey doesn't really have the opportunity to do a lot in this game. And plus, setting up the rocks was mainly for the Zard, so I don't really need the rocks anymore. So I go in, and he goes for the Dragon Claw, and I'm like, oh! Oops, and then he reveals the Fire Punch. So, at this point, I know he's not taking any recoil unless I force him to take recoil. So, again, realizing that Shaman will not be doing much for me in this game, I go into Shaman, we are Rocky Helmet, and we are going to knock him out with that Rocky Helmet. Just literally the only way we were going to get out of that. And then I go into my Haxorus, and I'm like, alright, I'm going to set up a Dragon Dance. It's time. But even still, even through the burn, he's able to do 46%. I do believe that we were actually hasty, now that I think about it. But even still, 46% through a burn, that's a ridiculous power. So I'm going to get a Dragon Dance up, and I'm going to go for, he's going to go for an Ice Shard, and I'm going to go ahead and just finish him off with an EQ. And but this is going to invite in the Hitmonchan, who's going to easily just go for a Fake Out and knock me out. So I'm going to go back into Sableye here. He's going to go for an Earthquake, and I'm just kind of start setting up Calm Minds because this thing can't really touch me. And I'm going to Calm Mind up one more time, and I'm going to go right here for the Dark Pulse. He goes to the Nest Plot, maybe thinking I'm just going to keep going for Calm Minds, but no thank you. I'm going to knock you out. Get out of here. I do not need you setting up on me. So he's going to go out into the Kartana, go for a Night Slash. I'm just going to recover up, get myself back up to full. He's going to go for a Leaf Blade, gets the crit that time, and I miss the Will-O-Wisp again. 2 Willows. 2 Willows. Fuck. So I'm going to go for a recovery here. He goes for the Smart Strike, and I'm going to live on 1% again. Rupee is hanging on for dear life. But he's going to crit me with another Leaf Blade and knock me out. If I'd gotten one Will-O-Wisp hit on this stupid Kartana, I could have swept the game with... I could have swept the game right there with Sableye. So now I'm down to my more specially defensive... Yachi Berry Zapdos, which I, at this point, forgotten that I had the Yachi Berry. I was kind of on tilt. So, I do eat up a Smart Strike. I get the static off, and I'm able to hit him with Discharge, which does tremendous amounts of damage. I'm going to be able to roost up here on him, and he's actually going to get fully parried, which is perfectly fine by me. I will get the Discharge off there. Easy peasy. He's going to fake me out with the Hitmonchan, tempting that static again. He's going to go for the high jump kick this turn. And get static. And here we go. We're off to the races. We get a Discharge off here. It's going to do a decent chunk of damage to him. I'm going to roost up, but due to the roost, obviously I'm going to take more damage from the high jump kick. So now I'm just going to spam roost because realistically, he can't 2-hit KO me. It's a roll to 2-hit KO me, so there's a good chance that he won't. So I essentially have to hope for a para or hope for him to miss the high jump kick, and he does eventually miss the high jump kick. He's going to lose that 50%, and now obviously since I outspeed him, I can kill him off with this discharge. So at this point, he informs me that I essentially won this game because he brought a physical Greninja to prep more so for the Chansey, probably with like low kick or something like that, to really break through the Chansey, which is understandable. And so he goes for the Gunk Shot. He misses. He actually would have seen there that I am a specially defensive Zapdos. I'm going to knock him down to his Sash, and I do get the para off on the static, and then I'm going to be able to knock him out with another discharge. So that is GG to Jerry. That was a really, really fantastic game. And Zapdos picking up another 3 kills. Zapdos is now like 9-2 kill-wise. Like, this thing is on fire. This thing is killing it this season. Zapdos is a monster. So, but that is it for this week. We are now 3-2, which is also really good. And yeah, so that'll be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'm pokePrimer, signing off. Peace.